Today, we're going to be talking about how to build a brand aesthetic. Yeah, I'm doing that from my girlfriend's spare room with her dead relatives in the back. And that's kind of my point. As I'll explain later in this video, part of having a brand aesthetic is not being afraid to fuck up or being too picky. It's about putting out content that you believe in and that you can be proud of, and not being afraid to go back and trim that content to better suit your brand aesthetic at a later time. That sounds a little bit confusing off the bat, but I'm going to try to break it down a few bits I can. I suppose the starting point of not only building a brand aesthetic, it's having a good story to tell. And not only is it having a good story to tell, but the key thing is to make that story interesting. You know, you might have been involved in the streetwear industry for a long time. You might be a photographer or a cinematographer who's worked with big brands, and now your thing is you're bringing all this knowledge together to form what you might see as the ultimate brand with all your connections. I don't know what it is, but every story is different. It's just finding a way to tell that story, and that's basically the base for not only your brand's aesthetic, but your brand in general. So the second step I would say is finding a platform. And what I mean by a platform is a social media platform, one that you find easiest to create content and reach people within your target demographic. That could be TikTok, it could be YouTube, it could be Instagram, it could be Facebook, it could be any multitude or combination of those things. But it's about finding one that you really want to hustle down on. And for me, mine has been Instagram, and I feel like that's the route a lot of streetwear startup brands go, because that's where the most 16 to 25-year-olds have got their attention right now. Something I definitely see on the horizon, something I want to get into, is TikTok. When TikTok first came about, I thought it was the stupidest thing. My little sister was on it and I couldn't stand seeing anything from it. But like in the past couple months, more and more people our age are on it, and the attention is there. You put a video up, my girlfriend does it now, and it's like 3,000 views in an hour, and the thing climbs like this. It just shows how many people have got their attention on TikTok right now. So that's definitely where I see things going. Like I said, it's each to their own. I chose Instagram, but you might just be really good with Facebook advertising or making YouTube videos. Unlike me, there might be Reddit, streetwear startup. It's great to have a really wide range of where you're putting your content, but it's also really important to just have like one platform that suits you best and that you really just double down on. I would say point 3 in building a brand aesthetic is really just focusing on what you find interesting in pop culture and music and television. Just being really true to your own tastes. Make your brand a very personal thing that resonates with other people with the same interests and hobbies and tastes that you have. I really believe that's how you create a loyal audience who really believes in you and your brand, which brings me on to my 4th point. You've really got to support your customers the way that they support you. Like what I've found with Bittersweet is that I've made a lot of friends purely through the people who buy my clothes, people I would have never connected with otherwise. Ways you can support your customers, like reposting their creative ventures on your Instagram stories, reposting photos that they take in your clothes, doing the right thing when it comes to a fuck up with an order. You give them their money back, let them keep the t-shirt. It's just supporting your customers the same way that they support you. My 5th point would really just be create content that you can be proud of. This is a tricky one purely because often it will require some sort of subscription, and they're not cheap. Learn how to use Adobe Premiere, After Effects, Illustrator, Photoshop. Just create content that you can consistently be proud of and just always aim to do better. It's not a science, it's an art, and it constantly needs to be played with and changed, and that just means you need to constantly be creating stuff, constantly deleting stuff, refining it. And honestly, I think you'll never achieve perfection. Your taste just gets better. Finally, I really just want to list off some great examples of brands that create great content and they form and foster a great community around their brand, which makes their brand aesthetic thrive. Pleasures is one of them. I feel like their captions and their content on Instagram, it certainly captures and creates a community. On that same sort of level, I'd say Chinatown does a great job of creating video content. They're both doing the same thing to make it work. They're still interacting with their customers, supporting their customers, recreating things that they find interesting in pop culture, collaborating with people they find interesting. Got their platform locked down, which is right now it's Instagram. Then there's just a few smaller brands that I just want to put out there. Awake at 3 is one of the newer brands on the scene. Again, just putting out amazing clothes and interacting with their customers just in a way that fosters that community and builds that brand aesthetic, and it's just a great example of a great brand. And always Get Some Sleep, probably one of my favorite streetwear startup brands. I don't know how they do it. I think they're just naturals. I'm constantly striving to do better and achieve the same things that these guys are doing. In conclusion, I've been away from the YouTube stratosphere, YouTube universe for a long time now. Been over a year and a half, maybe 2 years since I've last made a video. Just for a little catch up, the brand's experienced some great moments, some really sweet successes. We got stocked in Manhattan, New York last year. We got stocked in Japan, Wakayama last year. We've hosted 2 really, really cool pop-up events through Underground Street, New Zealand, which is just it's a collaboration bringing a lot of like local New Zealand brands together to form a pop-up store that gets their stuff out to a wider audience, and it's a great networking thing, and it really popped off, excuse the pun. I know I've been quiet here and I've been a bit quiet everywhere, but I'm really grateful for all the love and support you guys have been showing me in the brand, especially in the comments. Like I never expected so many people would find value in what I have to offer. At the end of the day, I'm not an expert. Far from it. This takes a lot of time and failure, but I'm just here to give what little value I have to offer. Thanks for sticking around, thanks for being patient, and I'll see you guys in the next one.